Alright guys, what's up? We're back for another episode of Alternative Paranormal. I got my teammate here, Michael James, the owner of Pop Culture Autographs and Collectibles, which is where we're filming at. So guys, if you live here in Knoxville, come down here to Chapman Highway to Pop Culture Autographs and Collectibles and give him a shout and check out all the cool stuff he has in here. Anyways guys, we are doing a video today. It's a Let's Talk video, and we're going to talk about Bigfoot, one of the many ever elusive cryptids that are out there roaming the wild. So, and Michael here is a huge Bigfoot fanatic, so we're going to talk Bigfoot today.
Yes, we are. First of all, if you see the camera shake a little bit, it's sitting on a table. My son is on the other side of that table sculpting. We're not having an earthquake. You're not seasick. It's just he's playing with clay. Be careful, okay? All right. What do you want to know?
Well, last time when we were talking about this, there was a video on YouTube that you were talking about to me, and that this guy supposedly found what looks to be a Bigfoot skull.
Yep.
So you said you were going to catch up on that video. So what was the verdict on that?
It's fake.
Fake.
The guy did a what would happen if someone found a Bigfoot skull.
Oh wow.
And what I'm going to address is, yeah, it's all fun, but what happens is you get scientists talking about stuff because they think you're real. And the article that I had read, which made me go look at the video, was scientists had said that the skull wasn't real because of the way he collected it. Immediately the scientific community in the article I read was like, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, it's not real, it can't be real. But in the video, he says, it's important for you to know from this point forward, everything I'm telling is a what-if scenario.
Right.
So that kind of shows me that if the scientific community actually watched the full video, they would have known it was a mockumentary kind of thing.
Right, like the Meg video from years ago.
Yeah, on Shark Week. And then they did a follow-up called Megalodon, New Evidence. And you really, really have to move your chair over here and sculpt right here on the end of this, kiddo. Okay? You really have to be careful doing stuff like, because Shark Week got a lot of heat for those videos.
Yeah.
People started to, there were actually specific scientists and charter boat captains that worked in that episode that won't work with Discovery Channel anymore.
Right.
So when you fake stuff like this and you put it out there for everybody to see, and well, everybody needs to learn to just, not take things so seriously. You have hundreds of Bigfoot investigators looking for DNA, looking for a body, looking for scat, looking for hair, looking for you have people doing eDNA, which is environmental DNA.
Yeah.
Which, you can test a water supply near where you find a track, or you can tell whatever animals. You need to put your, hold on a second. Stop, you can't touch that table, kiddo, okay? Sculpt up here.
Sorry guys for the delay.
I'm a father. I have to do my parental stuff sometimes.
Yes, you do.
And my kid, get back to Bigfoot, my kids are really into Bigfoot.
Yes, they are.
We had an issue 2 Christmases ago where we came home. We have a walnut tree, and it was Christmassy season. Christmas for us starts like in November. We put our tree up early. It had snowed. I don't remember the day. And there were tracks leading up to the tree.
Mm-hmm, I remember you telling me about that.
But there were no tracks leading away from the tree. Now, I don't know very many bears that are going to walk backwards through their track print.
Right.
And these were not human tracks. They were extremely large tracks.
It's all working good. It's all we can find. The emergency
CSC guy.
AC is on, so it's good.
Okay.
What do you want me to set it here?
Just have it on 72.
Okay, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I sculpt, guys, and we had the air messed up a little bit yesterday, and a couple of my sculptures failed because the clay is called monster clay. It gets real soft.
Ooh.
And have a good one, brother. Thank you.
I didn't realize you guys are doing this.
Oh, you're okay. You're good.
All right, have a good day.
You too.
So the monster clay was affected by the heat, and the air conditioning people showed up ASAP. So
That's good.
yeah, especially right now where people are not wanting to do their job.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, back to what I was saying. eDNA picks up where something's walked, where something's eaten, where something has drank from a creek or a pool of water, and you take a sample and you can get DNA from whatever animals have. And I mean, that's a big thing right now. There's a fantastic documentary right now, I think it's on Discovery, called Expedition Bigfoot. They're finding some amazing things. I think I've told you, I think Bigfoot will be proven to be real within the next 2 to 5 years.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I do. There's too much stuff going on right now to where there's a lot of sightings and stuff like that going on. It's
Sightings here in Tennessee.
Yep. What'd you say it was? Rockwood?
Tennessee Wildman.
Yeah.
A smaller Bigfoot, but a much more aggressive Bigfoot. Back in the 70s, this Bigfoot was notorious for killing people's animals and eating them, their dogs and stuff. And there's a little documentary about that on Monsters and Mysteries in America, I think it's called. One of the young men actually became a preacher. He's actually a minister. So, of course, that for younger people, that I know being a minister for a lot of younger people, that doesn't have a lot of sway because of all the stuff we see negative in the news about religion and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, my age, we take heart when a pastor tells us something because they are supposed to be better than that. So one comes to me and says, "I saw a Bigfoot." What's it going to benefit?
Yeah.
Lying to me. You get your 5 minutes of fame, and everybody's going to make fun of you for the rest of your life. The tree, like I said, at my house, there was no tracks leading the way. It walked backwards, and it was a very smart animal. If it was a bear footprint within a footprint, it's a very smart bear.
Yeah.
And that gets to the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Yes.
Those track prints and that video is you know, synonymous with Bigfoot. And the problem with it is that so many people are so quick to jump on, this is a suit, this is a gorilla suit. It is not a gorilla suit.
This doesn't even look like one of those.
There is muscle movement
Yeah.
under the hair that you can see. The technology for that kind of special effect did not exist at that time. Planet of the Apes, people. Okay, yeah, if we were in the 60s, they would look awesome, but you can't take Planet of the Apes facial makeup and say, this is, why do a female Bigfoot? There's Patty, you can see her breast. You can see that she walks with a certain gait. There is a guy, and I can't remember his name, who claims that he was hired by Patterson and Gimlin to wear the gorilla suit, he can walk like that. The guy in Brave Wilderness that did the fake Bigfoot skull, he imitates Bigfoot's walk. I can imitate Bigfoot's walk, but here's the thing. The proportions of a human's legs and arms, they're not right.
Yeah.
This guy, they took a photo of him side by side walking. They took a picture of him proving he could walk. The proportions are off. And even if you give extended arm pieces to make the arms longer, you'd have to break his legs to shorten his legs.
Yeah.
Okay? That gets to the track patterns. Somebody came forward and said that their dad had made the cutout feet that they found around the construction site there around that area, which Bigfoot got the name coined before the Gimlin film, and they claim that they're the ones responsible for all the tracks. So if they're responsible for all the tracks, that means this family has traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast, from Canada all the way down to Texas, across the pond into the UK, into other places, over into Russia, and all the tracks were done by these people. Or are they claiming that every track in the Pacific Northwest was done by them? That is literally hundreds and hundreds of tracks.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if it's a Bigfoot, then, or these people are mimicking a Bigfoot, then it's like, what is Bigfoot going to do? Learn how to drive a boat?
Really?
Swim?
You know, granted, I think they're probably extremely intelligent. Keep your clay up here. They're extremely intelligent. But are they intelligent enough to drive a car? You know, pilot a cargo ship.
That's gonna be the next Bigfoot scam going on.
It is. You know, I always thought we should do a Bigfoot movie where Bigfoot's out in the woods with other Bigfoots and Big Feets, Sasquatches, whatever you want to call them, Skookums, Omas. There's so many names. You know, Skunk Ape.
Yeah, Skunk Ape.
Falk Monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah.
You know, one of the first mockumentaries, but it scared the bejesus out of people.
That's a very good movie.
It's got a sequel, too.
Yeah, Return to Boggy Creek.
And it's actually got 2 sequels, one done by the same man and one done by another group. But I always thought we should do a fake documentary of Bigfoot out in the woods, you know, talking to one another and them going, check it out, check it out. They really love it when you do this. And they start throwing rocks and hitting trees. And then it shows the Bigfoot hunters out there doing Bigfoot calls and go, check it out, check it out. Watch me do a human call. And, you know, kind of like the messing with Sasquatch thing from Jack Link's, you know, and just have some fun with it. But at the end of the day, that wouldn't help.
Yeah.
It would just show that we're not taking this seriously. You don't have to have a body when you have the enormous amount of evidence, hair samples that have come up unknown primate all over North America. Track prints with dermal ridges on the toes. That is the same as your fingerprint. That is the same as a retina scan. They are unique to that individual. I think his name was Billy Chilcutt. He was a fingerprint expert that worked with the FBI and police. He's examined them. You've got a guy sitting in a room somewhere carving different toe prints for their fake tracks. Come on, guys. Seriously. If I was to put Elvis Presley in front of you and he told you he was Elvis, you'd believe it. But if I tell you that dermal ridges on toe prints are unique to a specific individual and they're not anywhere else, well, that's not enough proof. Okay? And maybe the Elvis thing's a little exaggerated. I mean, there's a guy, his name's Bob, that he's a minister, and everybody's convinced that he's Elvis because he sings and talks like him.
And I'm a lot of people can do that.
Saw Elvis at a gas station with Bigfoot and a Loch Ness Monster heading out to Atlantis for their holiday.
Yeah, but Mothman's giving him the ride.
That's right. You know, they're going to pick up the Jersey Devil on the way out.
That's right, yep.
So, when you're talking about something like Bigfoot, look at the evidence. Evidence, and I say this all the time, evidence can't lie.
That's right.
It simply is the evidence of something. It can be misconstrued, misrepresented, or mishandled. But it can't be... I'm going to pause that for a minute. Alright.
Alright, we're back.
What was I talking about? Evidence.
Yes.
Evidence. Evidence doesn't lie. It simply is the evidence. I mean, if we took a series of well-known forensic investigators and set them down with the preponderance of evidence that exists for the case that Bigfoot is real, I really believe they would have to look at it and go, there's enough evidence here to warrant an investigation.
I agree with that, man. I mean, like I said, all the footprints, and then you have people who are claiming that they made that, or in stuff like that. The hair sample, but the hair sample is the video footage, and everything else that's going on, like mountain monsters, like they go out there and they are the Bigfoot hunters and stuff like that. You know, I mean, they captured. I mean, there was that one video you showed me, like last year or a year before, of a guy who set up a thermal camera or something like that, or a night vision camera, and he set up apples on that tree that had fallen over,
and you actually see the hand come up.
Yeah. And
it catches it. And he did another video, which is, he spent like a year out there, and he's looking at these trees, and he says there's something right beyond those trees. And he's looking at them on night vision. And he looks at those trees a little bit later, and there's a Bigfoot standing there, because if you look at the trees, and the second time he's looking at them, the shape is not the same. It almost looks like he caught this part of a Bigfoot staring at him. You know, I don't buy into Bigfoots are interdimensional characters and they open up doorways and go through them, and that they're aliens, because usually you have a lot of UFO activity when you see Bigfoot. One precedes the other, that there's something, they were sitting here to, you know, do something to the planet. Or I think they are a relic hominoid species, which is an ancient human hybrid maybe, or ape hybrid that we do not know what it is yet, because the billy ape was just discovered several years ago.
I never even heard of that one.
It's an ape that has been living in this specific area for hundreds of years, and we didn't know they were there. And they just, like, I'm picturing some guy smoking a cigarette, walking through the jungle, and all of a sudden he walks into a bunch of apes. He goes, "Oh, wow. Where have you guys been for that?" There have been small horses. There have been a lot of new species are really usually tiny.
Yeah.
They really are. But that gets back into, I'm going to take a side branch here. Sharks.
Yep.
Okay, sharks, if we take God out of the mix, if you don't believe in God, that's fine. If you do, it's fine. Sharks have been around for a long time. They haven't changed a whole lot.
No.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Okay. Now, when Jaws came out, people went nuts. Sharks were evil. They hunted them and hunted them and hunted them. Numerous shark species are critically endangered.
And some got wiped out.
And the great white was put on the endangered species list. You know, great whites only get to 17 to 18 feet. You know, and back in the 30s, there were sharks that were caught that were 20-plus foot.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's been on the internet, Shark Week's going on right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff
Deep
on
blue,
Google.
Deep blue, 20 foot long.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a guy that was killed in 1981. One of the Shark Week episodes this month is this guy was killed, and through bite estimates, this shark was, in 1981, 21 feet long.
That's pushing Jaws size.
Okay, Jaws was 25 foot. I think, what was it, 3 tons? Or 4? He said 3 or 4 tons.
3 or 4 tons on them.
All the Jaws fans are going to give me hell for not knowing that.
Yeah, they can give me hell too.
But if large great whites are smart enough not to be seen, and don't say that sharks aren't smart, because there have been numerous accounts where sharks have, surfers have been bitten by multiple white sharks.
I remember that one video.
There's a documentary from a couple of years ago where there were 2 males that they think are brothers that are caught hunting in unison.
That's like...
That's pack hunting behavior. That is not stupid. Well, it's just learned behavior.
Steve Dalton's book, Meg.
You know, okay, it's learned behavior. It's learned behavior. You got to be smart to learn something.
Mm-hmm. Like that one shark that you had talked about, and sorry we took a side step here, guys. Like that one great white that you had talked about that was swimming, and how they can't they have to keep swimming because so the water goes over their gills.
That was deep blue.
Deep blue, and she actually found a flow in the ocean.
They've got it on. They took an underwater drone and they captured her asleep in a current.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know they could do that. Goliath. This was a shark that literally followed the Shark Week team and kept messing with their cameras. And it was, and we're talking miles and miles apart. And, you know, COVID had us out of the water, so COVID had us out of the woods.
Yeah.
So Bigfoot is moving into areas just like these sharks are moving back into areas because there was a lack of human presence.
Yes.
If a dumb fish can do it, why can we not say that the possible missing link or a large, intelligent, bipedal, hairy ape man is not capable of doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can give attributes to animals the monarch butterfly is critically endangered right now.
Huh, I didn't know
They just announced that the last couple of days. But bees, hive mind, how they pheromones to attract, we don't know because we don't want to admit that we don't know everything.
Right.
We don't know why we don't find a body. Are they burying them? Are they eating them? I mean, if a bear comes across a dead bear, it'll eat it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's food. So, if we are saying that Bigfoot's not real, show me the proof he's not real.
Right.
Well, we don't have a body. That's their big thing. We don't have a body. But we have hair. We have scat. We have footprints. We have video. Some of the videos are faker than crap. But there are others. You can tell by the sheer terror in some of the people in these videos that they're not faking this video.
Right.
Well, maybe somebody was setting them up and they didn't know it. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the person doing the video is definitely terrified.
Yeah.
How many 9-foot tall people do you know?
Not very many.
I know one person that's almost 7 foot, and that's Big Jim. He's 6'9".
Yeah, Jim. Yeah.
All right, and
tall.
Big Jim was a member of an organization, a criminal organization, many years ago, and he got out of it, and he literally went into the woods, and he says, Paw Paw, West Virginia, I think it was.
I think that's what.
And he said, now, this is a man you don't want to mess with. I'm not going to tell you his past because it's his story to tell, but let me tell you something. He's the type of person that you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
He is not afraid of anything.
No, he's not.
And he said he would curl up in his sleeping bag and pray for morning. The sounds he heard in them woods.
Wow.
And he says, that's not bear, that's not coyote, that's not wolf, that's not bobcat, that's not mountain lion. He said, I would curl up, and he stayed in those woods for a year.
Oh, wow.
And, deprogrammed. So, I'm going to take that for face value.
Yeah.
If somebody like that could walk up to you and just throw you through a window and not even think about it and care about the consequences of sitting here going, nope, I'm going to stand in the woods again.
That's a lot for, especially just got that coming from Jim.
Yeah, and I mean, Jim's testimony has been in the Knoxville News Sentinel. It's been on TV. He has a phenomenal testimony. He's a hell of a man, and that carries some weight for me when somebody that tough is that afraid. And I know my own experiences where I've been in the woods and you get the feeling that something's watching.
Yeah.
And we have a black bear on our property the last 2 years. So that's why I brought up the black bear and the walnut tree. Here's the thing. If a bear steps in its own print, it's going to be impressions from the claws.
Right, yeah, and those are going to be out past the fingers.
Exactly, and the hind feet will be in the middle, the claws will be in the middle of the print. If it's a mistaken print, if they're taking track, oh, this is a bear print, or where are the claw marks? Because they don't retract their claws like cats do.
Correct.
Where are the claw marks? Let's go back to when I was a kid, dinosaurs were stupid, slow-moving, tail-dragging monsters. Okay, how come we never had any tail tracks along with their feet? If they drug their tails, shouldn't we have that? We got their feet.
Yeah.
So, but nobody ever looked at it that way. It was something simple to look at to disprove the theory. Okay, because a bear claw is curved, and some of them can be that freaking long.
Yeah, especially with grizzlies.
The biggest living grizzly or bear on the planet lives off Kootznoe Island in Alaska. It's grandpa, and it's a grandfather. And it's a grower bear. It's a polar grizzly hybrid, and it's blonde, and he stands 15 foot tall.
Yeah, I've seen the video on that, guys. He's I would never want to come into contact with that thing.
Bear Island. There's a documentary on Discovery about it, and I thought it was a bunch of hooey until I saw it, and it was like this bear's walking in front of the camera they've got set up to catch him, and he's 6 foot at the bear hump on all 4 feet.
I'm 6 foot.
And I'm like, 6 foot at the bear hump. No, thank you. Okay, if people want to say Bigfoot doesn't exist, and we're finding things like hybrid animals, I could give you the coelacanth debate. Okay, extinct species suddenly found alive. Okay, I could go down that. I challenge people to be more open-minded when it comes to Bigfoot. Be more open-minded. Be more aware when you're in the woods. Pay attention. Not every pile of poop you find is Bigfoot poop.
Right.
Not every hair attached to a tree is Bigfoot hair. They're said that all Bigfoot have a certain smell, and it's kind of a skunky, rotten egg smell. Okay? You smell that in the woods? Did you come across a Bigfoot, or did you come across skunk poo? I don't know.
Or a dead animal.
But there is this that we need to start paying more and more attention to things and stop saying it's not real, just because Joe the scientist doesn't believe in it.
Right.
And I know about myself, when I watched the Brave Wilderness thing, what he was doing, what he was trying to do was, show what would happen maybe if we found a Bigfoot skull.
Right.
But if they find a Bigfoot body or a skull, it will change everything.
It will. That'll have everybody out in the woods, and some people may actually end up wanting to go out there to hunt one to kill it.
Well, in some states, they're on the protected species list. I mean, I want you to this is a creature that's got enough evidence to be protected by certain states, but yet he's not real. We don't... I saw the death worm from Mongolia. Okay, we need to protect it. No evidence. Thing ever existed or even exists. We're going to protect it. Okay. Oh, I saw a unicorn. You know the word unicorn is in the Bible?
Yeah.
Modern translations have changed the word to oxen. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I dare say that as we move forward, both in paranormal research and cryptid research, I mean, you got the Wampus Beast, which is a cryptid that's in the Appalachian Mountains. And if you watch Mountain Monsters, there's a lot of creatures that they make up. Okay?
Yeah.
They're not all true.
The Wampus cat I've heard of.
The Wampus cat, Cherokee Death Cat, the Cherokee Devil. He doesn't have psychic powers, though. He's a Bigfoot. Ohio Grassman.
Never heard of that one.
Ohio Grassman is a big one. Multiple documentaries on the Fouke Monster, the Skunk Ape. What's some more? Mothman.
Yeah.
The Jersey Devil. There's just so many cryptids that we could, call out.
Right.
And if you're having the amount of people that are seeing Bigfoot, are all these people just looming? I mean, as a scientist, do you look at anybody, like you work in retail, and somebody says, you used to have a resin John Wayne on a saddle, okay, and you go, well, no, we've never carried that don't exist, because you didn't see it.
Right.
But yet this person saw it in your store. It's the same kind of mentality of saying, I didn't see it, therefore it doesn't exist. I don't believe in it, therefore I don't believe in ghosts. I've had this conversation with you. I do not believe in ghosts. I am not arrogant enough, however, to say they don't exist, because I maintain the possibility they could be real, because I don't know everything. And I'm never going to be so arrogant as to say there's not a possibility. And I believe in demons.
Yes,
we've had this conversation. Is it Susie Q over there, moving the rocking chair, or is there a demon trying to get his way in? I don't know. But I am open to being proved wrong.
Yeah.
And that's science in itself, in my opinion, should always be the search for answers.
Right.
Not, okay, we know everything and we're going to say it's not real. That's an arrogance that has gotten us as mankind in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Look how many years they denied global warming.
Yeah.
Look where we're at now. So global warming, migration patterns change.
Yeah.
Are we going to see less or more? COVID, people out of the water, out of the woods for months on end. Animals come back. Oh, there's no people here. It's safe to come back. And they start moving out. I think we're going to see more Bigfoot sightings over the summer and the winter months this year, because we're starting to get back to normal from COVID. So people are going on vacation. And I think we're going to have more interactions.
I think so.
We've had more shark interactions.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
All across the eastern and western seaboard, great whites, hammerheads, makos, bulls.
Yeah, they're all coming closer into the shore, and there's been more shark attacks.
There have. You've got sharks that, for lack of a better word, the shark attacks by something like a great white. The one in 81, it was a single bite, and it killed this guy. And they showed his wetsuit and his surfboard, and it took a big chunk out of him. But didn't eat him. There's proof that sharks do not see us as food. Okay, if we can accept that based on a surfboard and a wetsuit or different attacks, why can't we do the same thing for track print, tracks, hair, feces,
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest anybody go watch Expedition Bigfoot. Because if they're faking that just to make a show, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
But the evidence that they're showing on that show, and one of the women, the only woman on the show, she's actually discovered an unknown primate. And it was a smaller one, but she was the person that found it. She studied up under Dr. Jane Goodall. When you say apes and monkeys, Jane Goodall is a
Yes.
name that people, she has had people that she has talked to about upright apes. She believes Bigfoot exists.
That's awesome.
Okay, if the premier person on the planet, when it comes to, and she does an interview, this Maria woman in this show, she studied under her, if I'm not mistaken. They're friends. And she got her on there, and she says, I believe they're real. Okay, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, he's, I don't remember the school. I don't have my notes with me. He has one of the largest collections of casts from tracks in the world. And you've got so many of the older Bigfoot researchers have passed away. Bob Gimblin's still alive.
Yeah.
And he sticks by Bigfoot's real. And I think he's in his 70s, if not older. Because that was in the 60s when they found that out at Bluff Creek. So, I know we've got a Bigfoot expedition coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to Rockwood.
Yes.
We're going to investigate the Tennessee Wildman and might start putting some stuff together, maybe for the Wampus Beast.
All right. Cat. Yeah, dude. Definitely.
I'd like, when we go to West Virginia, if we do the West Virginia thing, Point Pleasant, I'd like to do a Mothman.
Yeah, yes, that's what West Virginia is in our notebook for next year.
And you've got, what all is coming up for the ghost hunt?
We're going out of town. We're leaving, me and Brent are hitting the road Sunday morning, and I'm hoping to God that you and Mary can go. And if you guys just want to come up there just for the house that night, that's fine.
And the house is the Monroe house, guys.
Yes.
And he did the Monroe house a year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So we're going back there, and then the very next day, we are going to the Blackford County Jail, and we're also doing the Irvin Campbell Speakeasy in that exact same night. Also, on the night of the Monroe House, we are investigating the streets of Hartford City. And because you have the Monroe House sits right there, you can literally, a professional football player could throw a football and hit the Blackford County Jail. And I think the Irvin Campbell Speakeasy is right in that same area. And you also have Good Times Bar, which is haunted. And you also have Griffin's Blind Tiger, which is also haunted. So there's a whole hub of haunted areas right there.
It's a paranormal hotspot.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I figured...
And here's something. Serial killers have anchor points.
Mm-hmm.
They have a territory that they hunt in. Okay, I did a paper in school linking it to Neil Hammerschlag did a research on sharks, that sharks display the same patterns as serial killers. They have anchor points. If ghosts are real,
why not just...
why wouldn't they have an anchor point?
Exactly. And in the book On Dark Ground that I read, which is by Richard Estep, who investigated the Monroe House, I read half of it on Kindle, and I ordered the book and just had it mailed to me. But it turns out Sherry Stewart, which I believe that's Pam's sister, she did a bunch of research on that place, and she also looked at the Blackford County Jail, and it turns out, I think, one of the guys who was the sheriff there actually rented out the upstairs of the Monroe House, and there was speculation that he had used the basement as an overflow for inmates. It's speculation. That's speculation, but he did rent the upstairs room.
Have they not gone back and looked through public records?
I think that Sherry has all the information. She's, like Eddie says, that she's like the historian, the info person on that part.
If you've watched the videos on the channel,
mm-hmm.
and you've heard them talk about the Monroe House, when they were there last time, I wasn't there, but just about everybody that was there is no longer part of the team. Because the team suffered, it just suffered a major setback, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It destroyed it.
Yep, and that's actually documented in the book on Dark Ground. Richard Estep interviewed a bunch of people, other investigators said some of the teams were still together, but a lot of them, actually, when they got done investigating there and they came back, they all kind of just parted ways. And
Yep, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Brent, the cameraman, your cameraman friend Brent, he was chased, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that's also documented by another group, Ghoulie TV on YouTube. They investigated there, and they were setting up outside waiting for their teammates to show up, and one of them went inside to get a soda. He said he had his back turned to the same hallway, and something ran down the hall at him and chased him outside.
So see, it's not just one subject that we're interested in.
Right, we guys, like it says, we do cryptids, we do urban legends. That's another one. We are actually planning to do a Bloody Mary episode and get the equipment out. Let's see if that's urban legend. Let's see if Bloody Mary's really real.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot. Well, look, Candyman's based on the man with the hook story. You know, trying to get in the car and then it's the body hanging and rubbing. You take urban legends and stories and you turn them into characters in movies, and it desensitizes us to, they say it's desensitizing us to violence. Well, actually, it's making us think, oh, I've heard this story,
it ain't real.
It ain't real. We don't be so arrogant as to just say it's not real. Do some investigation. Read up on some of this stuff. Read up on the people that say, yeah, it exists. Yeah, it doesn't exist. I don't like to look, when I watch a documentary or read a book, I want to have both sides in it. The naysayers and the proponents saying, yes, he's real, no, he's not. I want to hear what they're saying. And the one thing that the people that say Bigfoot isn't real always want to go back to is we don't have a body.
Yeah.
You have hair from the Pacific Northwest that has come up unknown primate multiple times. That is enough, in my opinion, to warrant a full-scale, properly funded investigation. Treat it like you would a crime scene. We got to catch the killer and find out what this unknown primate is.
Right.
If it's not Bigfoot, there's an unknown primate in North America. What is it?
Yeah.
Okay, if Bigfoot's not real, the guy faked all the tracks. What's leading this? That's something we need to know about.
Yeah. Then what's doing this?
I mean, if I'm going into the woods and somebody says, well, we've got unknown bear hair. We don't know what kind of bear it's from. I ain't going in the woods. You know, black bears kill and eat more humans than any other bear.
I believe that.
There have been multiple cases of black bears attacking and eating. Not just mauling like grizzlies and other bears, but eating them. Okay, you tell me there's an unknown bear. What if this is just a bear that just eats anything? And if you told me I've got DNA of an unknown human species, what do you mean? There's a different human. I mean, what is it they say that we all have Neanderthal DNA in us?
Yeah.
Because that was the last branch before us in evolution. And I'm like, okay, and more so in Europe than in America. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, we came from Europe. You can't just.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, some of the science doesn't make sense when they go, well, that's mainly in Europe. But we came from Europe, and Spain, and France. You do realize that America did not have an indigenous population. Everybody came here, including the Native Americans. The Native Americans' genome is closer to the Asian genome, which the three basic genomes were Mongoloid, Negroid, and Caucasoid. They're not used like that now because they're considered, you say Mongoloid, everybody thinks of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but they do. And you say the word Negroid, and that's too close to another word.
Yes.
But we'll say Asian. We can't say African American because that's not the only place where you have that, the black race. I mean, it's hard to say where you have Europeans, the Caucasoid, which was mostly Europe, France, stuff like that. And the genome has, what I'm trying to get at is the genome has more branches.
Right, way too many.
And look at the Musculero Indian. You look at somebody that's muscular, Mexican Indian, Musculero, they look Asian. Look at most full-blooded or three-quarter or half, you know, because we know you have to be, like with certain tribes, you have to be a blood quantum
right,
to be considered part of the tribe. And you look at them, there is a lot of Asian features in them.
Yeah.
Come across the land bridge, the ice bridge, whatever you want to call it. How come this ain't? If we have the UK having Bigfoot sightings, did Bigfoot go from America to UK? Did he come from the UK to America? It's a large, hairy creature. It's more designed to be in the cold. Did this happen at the last ice age? Is this where this creature evolved or whatever? Because it's pretty hot out this year. I mean, there have been some states that have been record temperatures of 110.
Yeah.
And if you're a large, hairy man running around the woods with no rain for weeks on end, you're burning up in your fur coat.
Yeah.
So what caused them to develop all over body hair like that? These are things we don't ask.
Evolution and stuff and species, DNA,
exactly.
crossbreeding.
And that gets back to migration patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Let's track it back to the land bridge. Let's look at the Bigfoot in the UK and European countries, and then let's see how it corresponds. You know, have we done any deep research? I mean, they find Bigfoot not Bigfoot, but dinosaur trackways in cliff sides where, you know, the geography has changed and what was once the ground is now a mountain. And
right.
I'm sure if Bigfoot has been around as long as people think, those exist somewhere.
Yeah, and that they're meeting other ones and they're procreating and DNA's, you know, getting crossed, and then
if they're close enough to human, what's to say that an early human didn't actually procreate with a Bigfoot?
There's no telling.
There's not.
No telling.
I mean, there's talks. There's a story about this one wild woman that was caught, and supposedly the guy that owned her wound up fooling around with her, and she had multiple babies, but she didn't know how to take care of them. And the last one she had, and I can't remember where it's from. I want to say somewhere in France or in Europe, or maybe even Germany. They had to take the baby away because she didn't know how to raise them. And they literally kept her as almost like labor. You know, she helped around a meal or something like that. And it's I don't know but this is documented. And I'm like, okay, show me the documents. Okay, well, here's the documents. Here's the proof. Well, that's not proof. That's just a piece of paper. We need a body. Well, here's a track. We need a body. Here's hair. We need a body. Here's an eyeball. We need a body. Yeah. You know? That's why the skull thing was so interesting to me, because had he found a real skull, now, this would be a totally different conversation right now.
Yeah.
And I went back over, remember the TV show Finding Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went back over and watched some of those episodes, and they talk about how Bigfoot will grab deer and break their legs, and they've discovered that. And I'm like, well, how do you know Bigfoot did that?
Could be anything out
Hey,
there.
did you see the Bigfoot do it? I didn't. You know, a lot of the theories are just that, theories. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we need to take the evidence we have. And that's what I'm saying. Take the evidence we have. Kind of put that in a bag, shake it up, pour it out, and say, here, an independent, neutral investigator. Look at this evidence. Tell me what it says. Because there are very intelligent and very educated people in that field that don't have anything to do with this. Let's take it to Scotland Yard, let them look at it. Let's take it to Germany, let their forensics people, let's take it to different countries. Don't share your findings with anybody. Take it to them. Say, you need to investigate this. Give us your findings. Seal it. We'll put it up. At the end of the day, we take 5 of them and take 5 experts from around the world Each of them get the same evidence and see what they say.
Yeah.
Don't tell them it's Bigfoot going in. When they open it, it's the first time they know what they're doing. You have to handle this just like you were investigating a crime. I want you to look at it with that kind. This is so important to solve. You know, like saving a little girl's life, saving a little boy's life, finding the murder of somebody's grandma. I want that kind of research from 5 experts in forensics. The best in the world, the 5 best in the world. You're not allowed to talk to the others. Once you've got your results, they're to be sealed in an envelope. Open them puppies on live TV. And if they all come up and say there's not enough evidence to prove that he exists, then we know, okay, we need to do more. But if they say there's not enough evidence to say he exists, but there's enough evidence to say, there's not enough to say that he does exist, but there's not enough to say that he doesn't exist. And if we're in that middle ground area right there, then we've got more work to do as investigators.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had Sir No Face,
Yeah.
okay, that's a pretty compelling piece of evidence.
Yeah, it is.
Is it fake? We don't know. We have to go on what we're told. This guy swears absolutely 100% real. If that's real, that video, that clip, changes everything.
Yeah.
And anybody that's seen that doesn't get the hairs stand up on the back of your neck when that happens, like I said, I don't believe in ghosts. It makes me go, ooh, hello. You know, I'm a little bit more towards it now than I was before I saw that.
Right.
So, Bigfoot, put the question to you all. Do you believe he exists? Do you believe he's fake? Do you believe it's all paranoia? Leave it in the comments when you see the video.
And give us a like too. Smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, guys, hit that subscribe button because we film everything raw and unedited, and we leave it up to you guys to determine what do you see, what do you hear.
Alternative paranormal.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
We're going to do the Ghostbusters thing. What do you believe?
We are here to believe you.
There you go. But really, guys, you're going to get to see our Bigfoot expedition and some of the other stuff. I want to wait a little bit later for it to cool off.
Yeah, fall time.
Because that's when a lot of the sightings in the past have been recorded in that area. So it will be cooler for us. I don't want anybody out there overheating.
Yeah.
You know, it is heat exhaustion, heat stroke's real, and you can die from it.
Yep. It's not good for equipment either.
If you've got a video, or you've got pictures, or you've had a sighting, or you think you've had a sighting, send us that info.
Mm-hmm.
You know, send it to us. Let us see your pictures. Let us see your videos. Comment. Tell us if you've had an experience and you want to just send us a little message. This is what happened to me. Send it. It gives us ideas on where we can go to look for different things.
That's right.
Whether it be paranormal, whether it be cryptid, whether it be urban legend, you know, this is what we do. And kind of like dirty jobs, send them in because we don't know everything. We don't know every place that's supposed to be haunted, that's supposed to have a sighting of a Bigfoot or a swamp monster. Not going to Alaska.
No.
Not going to Alaska. I don't fly.
I do. I like to fly, but I don't.
Yeah, he likes to fly. You put me in a plane, you better have me unconscious. I'm going to be BA from 18.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, guys, that's it for today. We also have a really special episode coming. I just got to shoot the intro for that, and that will be dropping this weekend. I'm looking at doing that one on Sunday. And guys, this video is actually pretty cool. So can't wait to share that one with you guys. But until then, guys, stay spooky, stay blessed, and stay safe. And we'll see you on the other side.